Black Dong.
Blog Talk Radio.
Okay.
Warning.
Welcome to the 2-minute warning. When sports fans sound off.
I'm trying to blow your mind. I'm talking literally blow your mind. I'm trying to blow your mind. I'm talking literally blow your mind.
What's up, fuckers? We're back with the 32nd episode of the Pride Rules MMA podcast, sponsored by 2-Minute Warning. We got our usual 4 co-hosts back and ready to go. Omar, Chris, Tommy, and I am Carl. What's good? What's good? While I have your attention, just make sure that you write down our website and check it out for all things MMA, www.priderulesmma.com. Make sure you join the Facebook group 2-Minute Warning on Facebook just by searching up 2-Minute Warning. And while you're at it, search up Pride Rules 2MW and like our page. Also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Pride_Rules 2MW. And find us everywhere that podcasts are downloaded and played. I don't have to go through the list. If you're already listening to the show, you have an outlet to find us. If you need a new outlet, check out our website because we want more traffic there anyway. Screw these other sites. We want our traffic to go to our site. So what's up, gentlemen? What's up? Omar, Chris, Tommy, how you guys doing? Everybody at once?
You.
Hello, what's up? Yo.
Well,
what's
hi.
up? Got an interesting show today. Got the review of the 212 card, the Aldo Holloway card with actually turned out to be a pretty decent one. Piqued my interest the whole time, and then, obviously it was maxed out when you literally had the Max Holloway drubbing of Aldo. Other than that, we are going to discuss the right. We are going to discuss the career paths of Holloway and Aldo because they seem to be going on a completely different direction. So we'll discuss both of those fighters. There's been some news with the TJ DJ Dana White drama. We're going to discuss that because it seems pretty juicy. And there's a little bit to discuss in the Conor Floyd nonsense. But, again, that's if we have time. I don't want to leave with it today. And there's other things I want to bring up to Tommy to see where he stands on an issue from last week. But, gentlemen, 212, it was a good one. Did you guys catch it live? Omar, Tommy? I know me and Chris did.
Of course.
Yeah, I caught it live. I mean, it wasn't worth $70, but I caught it live.
Exactly.
I'm glad I didn't catch it and paid for it. I'm going to be Dana White, come get me, all right? I'm a better hacker than what you have available at your disposal. So let's see what goes on. But, Jesus Christ, $70. No way, guys. That's
ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's getting
to
be way too much.
No, but, I don't know. They just they think we're made of money because they keep on hitting us every couple of weeks with, okay cards. You know what I mean?
And then they drop one that's supposed to have a little juice to it, and it's like, it's like when you're going through days of 70 degrees every day, 85 feels really hot. But when you go through days of 95, 80 degrees feels like fucking freezing, So that's kind of the way they're playing us here as fans. They feed us these local cards, and, you got the home crowd screaming for their locals every time the guy walks out to the ring. You're like, wow, there's some good fighters in this.
They spend 7 cards promoting one big pay-per-view now. That's what they do.
Right. That's basically what they do. They hype it up and get us mind fucked into thinking that there's something bigger than it is. When I will pay to see Holloway and Aldo fight, but I'm going to pay some bartender drinks and a cover charge. I'm not going to order it for $70 and sit at my house. It's just not that fun anymore. Back when I was younger and we had a lot of friends coming over and everyone would chip in, it was different. But
when
it's just
people. Now,
right, exactly. Now I have 2 friends, and one lives in Pleasant Mounds, New York. The other lives in Barnegat, New Jersey, and I'm talking to them both on the phone right now.
There we go.
But it was a good card. I definitely want to discuss, a couple of the fights because a couple of these guys look pretty good. Me and Chris were talking. One of the main one that sticks out to me was a lower one. It was the Rafael Sunsao card fight versus Marias. Chris, you said you saw him before in Bellator?
Bullshit.
Of course Tommy's going to take this bullshit.
Dude, there's no way he won that fight. Sunsao won a decision.
That fight could have gone either way, but you can't argue either way either. That was one
of
those fights where, the first round was a toss-up, and the other one, I think they each kind of won a round. after that.
Keeping it real, Chris.
So
he
it's
definitely
like
won the second round of Sun Tao, and I think he won the third as well. I even said to Chris before the fight was over, I was like, Sun Tao's winning this fight. There's no question. He's been doing more damage the whole time.
I knew that Tommy would take this stance on it because he blindly loves anybody from fucking Mark Henry, Ray Longo.
Which, I sort of respect in a way.
It's a fucking extended teammate, dude. Like,
yeah, no.
He suck balls. You still cheer for them,
See,
don't
Tommy,
you?
this is the thing with Chris. He busts your balls so much because he knows how worked up you get, and sometimes he is serious about it. But in this case, I've heard him say before,
I'm always serious about it.
There's something affable to a guy that's going to blindly follow his team. He would do the same thing. Yeah, he don't get the name Keeping It Real Chris for no reason, but yeah, he would do the same thing. Don't let him fool you.
Yeah, of course.
It is what it is.
Guys, anyone?
Nah, I think Chris would shit on his own teammate if he deserved it. I feel Chris keeps it at
just
100.
Brett Favre.
He keeps it 150. I think he does. I think, if something was out of line with the
I don't like Carl, how long have I been calling for Mike McCarthy to be fired? He's one of the most successful coaches in the NFL. I hate his guts. He's a Packers coach. I'm a Packers
He's the worst
Packers
play calling coach in the history of the league.
And I want him out. I've wanted him out, and I think it'll set us back for a season, but at the same time, I think new blood. Man, we need
Plus, he's a dumpy-looking motherfucker. Fire him already. All right, I don't want to look on the side.
He's got that beard. He looks like
So I'm not going to just blindly follow a guy because he's on my team.
Patches. They should call him Patches O'Houlihan. It's a worse beard than the Ryan.
So has this turned into Monday Night Fury now?
Oh shit! Got him. Reeling it back in, Tommy. I like it. But
just the point that I'm making that I don't blindly follow like a team. My team just because.
Yeah, well, it's different when you're,
it's a little different when you bleed with the guys, I get it.
Yeah,
I do get it.
It's all part of
it.
And
it wasn't really. I don't want to say it was controversial, but it could have went the other way easily. I've seen fights that are way worse get given to the loser that should have won.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been upset either way. I wouldn't have, I'm just saying, making a point.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good showing for him.
All I said was I knew Tommy would take this chance. That's all I said.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good showing for him for his first
UFC fight, so
we'll see where they go from there.
I'm more impressed by the other Brazilian on the main card, the second fight on the main card against Bam Goche or whatever. I can't pronounce his name, Porcatino or whatever.
Borrachinha.
Borrachinha. Yeah.
Yeah, that dude is a fucking beast.
He looked good. Because I like Bam Goche. I thought he was going to do a little bit better, but he got fucking.
Yo, and what up with Bam Goche's toenails, man?
Yo, that's such a.
I watched Fight Companion after the fact. I watched the card, then I went back and listened to the Fight Companion, and Rogan was livid about that. He was like, "Yo, if I was Borrachinha, I would have literally lost my shit, saying, yo, you better fucking file those down. That should have been done in the locker room.
Yeah, you can't
correctly.
That was like a spilled ice
fight. That's sharp as hell.
Didn't Winklejohn's brother lose an eye or something?
Yeah, Winklejohn lost
an eye.
Chris,
remember when they used to check our nails before wrestling? When we'd
stand
in line and they'd check our nails?
You'd stand in line, they'd check your beard, and they'd make sure you didn't have scruff on your face at all. You could have a beard, but it had to be like past a certain point, and they would check your nails. If you had nails or a beard,
you don't want to start giving rug burn or cutting people's
Bro, I watched people
faces.
shave with no fucking water and no shave cream just because they had to wrestle in like 10 minutes.
That's terrible because then all you're getting on your face is sweet, sweet mat burn. If you shave right before
it's even worse for the guy.
Oh Christ!
Yeah,
I made that mistake.
For the guy who shaves it. Yeah.
Jesus! I mean, one time, and my face started bleeding, and I remember one of these old time like purple belts, right? Like these old men. He's like, "Oh, you shaved before you got here, huh?" I'm like, "Fuck you! I hate you. I just trying to look good for all y'all.
You gotta make me feel awkward. Who else made that mistake once? Johnny Hendricks made that mistake once of shaving his beard.
And then he lost all his power. He looked terrible.
He looked like he wasn't on steroids anymore. And on the contrary, it was now, an HIV positive fucking.
He looked like a really wet wombat. It just looked like
Jesus Christ.
Like they shaved him, you know what I'm saying? Like, he looked terrible. Christ.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Making bad investment choices. It fucked up his whole life. Shaving that beard really set him back in all sorts of ways. All right, Jesus. He bought Bitcoin when it was high, sold it when it was low.
Oh my God.
All the way up. I'm telling you.
Anyway, back to UFC 212.
Right? Let's reel it back in again. All right. So I was, much to Tommy's dismay, I was actually impressed with Assunção's performance. He looked pretty good against a very viable opponent.
Fight, you know what I mean? It was a good fight.
Moraes definitely has more fights under his belt in the UFC. He definitely didn't embarrass himself, and Dana can tell that, hey, this guy is a fighter. So
against the third-ranked bantamweight in the fucking world.
Yes,
it was
exactly.
Like he was a heavy favorite. He's no joke. It's not.
I
Like
can't even hate him for losing because he fought number 3. It was just bad. Guys who know UFC and know fighting and know gambling will look at that and win a lot of money on that. But
didn't Eddie Alvarez come into the UFC and drop his first fight as well?
That Anthony Pettis fight.
Was it Pettis?
Pettis fight?
Cerrone?
He beat Pettis his first fight.
Yeah.
He lost to Cerrone in his first fight. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought he lost.
Got his leg kicked out
from his first fight.
No, he beat Pettis and he beat Pettis. That was like his.
Can I ask you guys something though? Does anybody have real quick? Because they gotta get into the rest of the card. But what the hell was Cerrone thinking that fight when he kicked Alvarez and Alvarez couldn't even walk anymore? So Cerrone just stayed on the ground with him and wound up rolling around instead of making him get up and basically would have won the fight right then. He took a big risk.
Cerrone's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, that was
his
stupid.
fight IQ is not 1,000% there. Like it's one of those things where he just has weird brain farts. And we've seen it.
That was definitely a big brain fart.
But,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, he was rolling around the ground with him. Omar, you know better than anybody. If you got a fucked up leg, it's not like you can wrap somebody in your guard real tight if you can't squeeze your leg together. You're gonna be able to pass the guard.
You're getting leg
different kind of thing, though. It might just have been like he couldn't have put pressure on it. It had nothing to do with like his mobility or something.
Aldo made the right choice against Faber. He didn't start trying to grapple Faber. He knew he was going to go back to the well continuously.
Yeah, RDA when fucking RDA fucking made mincemeat of Nate Diaz's legs, he didn't shoot a double on him afterwards.
Yeah.
He just
I'm going to beat you in every aspect of this fight. I'm going to show you how great I am, right? No. If I'm winning and I'm making sweet contact.
Stubborn son of a bitch. What's wrong with you?
Jesus
it's one hell of a risk. You can, Anderson Silva could tell you that. You keep throwing a leg kick until somebody checks it the right way, and then
he's repping that flag. He is repping that flag for his team.
That's the truth.
You mean,
it's not even taking a shot at him.
Well, whatever.
The
Getting back to the UFC 212 card, Yancy Medeiros wound up TKO victory over Eric Silva in round 2.
I was hyped, as you saw in chat.
Yeah,
I was hyped for that Yancy win. I'm pretty excited.
Yancy was definitely getting some chatter in our draft, our chat room, our sparring session.
Early stoppage. What the fuck? Come on.
Right.
Jesus.
Come on.
What's Silver gonna do? Was he gonna then go in between rounds and do steroids right then and there, and then miraculously come back? Unless somebody was gonna throw him.
He was gonna win the fight. I just think that particular stoppage was a little.
Yeah, Jesus.
Or whatever.
They just didn't want him to die.
There's some people saying that the Aldo fight shouldn't have been stopped. Then there's
some
people saying that the Aldo fight
should have been
stopped
stopped
too late.
6 fucking times over. Are you kidding me? He got woken up by the fucking getting his head fucking clattered off the mat.
He got knocked out and woken up. That's when it's a bad stoppage. When you're like, what are you doing?
A few times.
Yes,
times.
He did.
And then, bro, Aldo's heart and soul looked just completely gone. Max snatched his soul. Right.
He's going back to the favela.
But we'll get to that.
You guys know.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, he's going back. City of God 2. He's gonna shoot City of God 2, and he's gonna be the kingpin. He's like, fuck it. I tried living the straight life, but I got dragged back in. God hates me.
So let me ask you guys a question. Was it just a typo in the website, or was Medeiros really fighting 70?
He's coming up from 55, bro. He fought at lightweight.
Yeah. Somebody forgot, an intern forgot to update it. They didn't Jesus.
That was one hell of a typo.
I'm like
20 pounds difference.
Exactly.
Leave it to Kareem to point out the most fucking pointless details.
Hey.
Why did Vitor?
Hey.
Why did Vitor weigh in fully clothed?
he did have
fucking ceremonial, bro.
Stuff, didn't he? No, he had some random tidbits this week. He was going deep. No, he was going deep. I like it.
He
No,
knows
no,
the things that I wouldn't look at.
But that
Right,
on the
exactly.
website, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that was right out in the open. And like I said, it wasn't like the slip of a finger. It wasn't like 156 or 154. It was 170. Like the guy who typed it out went to a completely different area on the keyboard to type in his weight, and it's just funny to me.
No, what they did, what they probably did was they probably just rolled over whatever his last fight was, and he fought at 55, and they just rolled over the information. And,
yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
That
Instead
makes
of doing
more
your
sense.
job. That's a
Right,
proofreading.
exactly. It's worse. It's even worse if that's the case. The guy who did that got fired because of it. Fuck that.
You know how many people want to work in the
expect
UFC?
that.
And there's one low-level guy that just mailed it in. He was like, yeah, Yancey, that looks good. Bro.
He doesn't realize the opportunity he has in front of him, or he works for WME,
Something.
he's like whatever. He's an employee.
He's like Ari's third assistant cousin, right? He's like the dumb Emmanuel brother, and they just gave him a spot in the proofreading for the releases.
He don't give a shit. He don't even know fighting. I don't care about fighting. I'm a friggin' tennis fan or something stupid. Whatever.
Oh God, let's alienate all the tennis fans.
Nothing wrong with tennis. I enjoy all sports, but I'm just saying, go ahead, go ahead and follow your tennis, buddy, and don't like the real fight.
Pussy tennis.
I'll leave that one alone.
You're a pussy too, then.
There's something wrong with tennis, but that's just me, unless you're a female. But
yeah, like what one of us is gonna go out for tennis in high
or
school?
European.
I don't know. I just don't.
I have the same feelings towards soccer, though. So unless you're a European man or an American female, you shouldn't be playing those sports. But
Which
That's
there's
why
a
we
very
trust
thin
them.
line between those two things. If we want to really
Right.
break it down, brass tacks. I'm gonna
You son of a bitch! That was fucking great.
Chris
Oh
was
my
going
God.
there. He that was a layup. Chris, thanks for the alley oop on that
Oh
one.
my! I'm writing that
For
one
real.
down. There's a very thin line between European men and American women, chromosome-wise.
I'm saying.
right, you could talk about
That sounds like
fashion,
anal rain dance to me.
Name it.
That's what that sounds like.
Anal
13
rain
American
dance, baby.
men and 1 woman.
Ooh.
There's your anal
Oh my
rain dance.
God!
Yep, there's a lot of packing.
Cyborg has a dick.
Oh my God!
You know what? And God
Better
bless
watch
her, I
out,
still
dude.
want to
She's
see her
starting
fight.
to punch motherfuckers in the face now.
No, Chris is
Cyborg
like, I
was
got
like,
punching
Cyborg.
people
Cyborg
for free
told
now.
Madonna that she was going to choke her out with her dick.
Oh, hey.
By shoving it down his throat.
That's still impressive.
Oh my God!
If you're going to
Yeah,
have
it is.
one, you might as well have a hug.
If you're gonna have one, have a hug, right?
have a hug show. All right?
Trish is going to be hitting us up later in the chat. Shout out to Trish Andrews, the head of 2-Minute Warning. But she's going to hit us up later in the chat, like you guys managed to top yourselves, cringe-worthy wise.
Did
this
Omar
week
say
than last
go
week.
show? Yes.
Right, especially when we led the podcast with Black Dong.
Hey, man, it's all over. We are seeing the NBA Finals, so it's all over TV. I'm going to throw it out there.
It is 2-Minute Warning After Dark. Hashtag Pillow Talk with Chris. Hashtag Lip Wizard. Hashtag Tongue Wizard.
Can we please get back to the fight? Please. Holy
Hashtag Anal Rain Dance. Shut up.
Yeah, right? What moral high ground do you have, Thomas?
I don't know. I've had to reel us back in 3 times already.
Yeah.
3 times already. It's 15 minutes.
Boy, we'll have to reel you back in later when you go on your epic rant where you're calling some guy a cocksucker. Like fucking cocksucker. Father, when I got a D in fucking elementary school.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He goes full, Deadwood. He just goes full Deadwood on somebody. He's just a cocksucker.
I'm telling you, my blood pressure is fucking rising.
I listened back to the podcast 3 times last week. And the one time I'm listening back and Chris is like, yo, what is Tommy talking about? Like, he's going off for a rant for 10 minutes. Oh my God.
Take a breath.
Cursing up a storm. It was beautiful.
His blood pressure went up. You poor bastard. You needed some statins after that shit. Calm to you, bro. We're not young people no more, right?
It's just too much caffeine for me. That's the problem.
That's all right. We'll get to that later. I'm definitely going to bring that up because I know you mentioned something. But back to the card. I guess I can reel us back in now. I mean, it's been enough time since Tommy mentioned it. But we already discussed the Bortini Bang Boach fight where he knocked him out in the second round.
Bambozi.
Bang Bochi, yeah, Bang Bozy.
Yeah.
How about the oh my God, bangbus.com. Holy crap.
Where's Baby Slice
back
when you
to the
need
rain
him?
dance.
reality
This is
game.
such a sexual podcast. It's insane. If you picked us up at the wrong time, you would have no idea we were an MMA podcast. You think, like, is this a porn podcast? Like, what's going on? A male porn podcast?
Hey, listen. Hey, you know what? I want to keep those two subjects very, very distinct because the last time they intermingled, all right, bad things happened. So I don't want none of that. I just saw that he got sentenced again. So I'm excited. So that's good. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
How about the fake swan song? The pseudo swan song that everyone thought was going to happen with Vitor Belfort. You know, Dana, like, yo, he's got another fight under his contract. I don't know what he's thinking. Now he's like, I'm trying to reinvent myself again. And, you know, keeps bringing up this Legends League and you know, like, what
5 more
does
fights.
he have
He's got a fucking service dog walking him around with his fucking old geriatric head.
Yo, shout out to Tommy who mentioned service dog in our sparring session chat room.
Who's gonna run that Legends League? Dana White sure as hell's not gonna do it. That's what Bellator's for.
But Bjorn,
I'll tell you what,
Bellator's already
someone
started the Legends
Bjorn Rebney. Oh my God, Bjorn fucking Rebney.
Bjorn.
Dana White would fucking sabotage that shit. He would let his guys start juicing so they could like die off early and later in their careers, just so they wouldn't go into this guy's.
Apparently, the juice is affecting Vitor's ability to count. Like, can we not gloss over the fact that
Thank you.
He legit was like, yeah, this is my last one.
The lack of juice.
For something, man.
Can we also not gloss over the fact that he lost that fight, and the only reason why he got the win was because it was in fucking Brazil?
Thank you, Tommy. I was going to get to that.
Terrible decision.
Horseshit.
Oh.
Absolute horseshit. But you know what? You get the home fucking field advantage, I guess. It's stupid. Anyone who knows anything about fighting saw that.
Dude,
we're
there's
like,
no such thing as that shit in the fight. You win a fight, you win a fight. You lose a fight, you lose a fight.
It might not have been simply because of that.
There's something that bothers me. There's only one other thing that bothers me more than that. When people say like, oh, maybe he's the home fighter, so he got the win. If that's the case, those people shouldn't be judging fights. And
yeah, but the
also,
human element still exists, dude.
You gotta really
human
beat
element still exists.
Beat the champ. Like, what the fuck do you mean? You fought 5 rounds? You score each round individually, and at the end you add up your score. You don't say, well, that was a close one, but he's the champ, so I'll give it to him. No, you fucking add up who won the round. And you add up
Unfortunately,
the rounds.
dude, a human is a human is a human. When you're sitting there doing
Brazil's notorious for that.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, these people are fucking all about
this. I'm saying that I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm saying that bothers me.
I could give you a great example. There was a fight that Tara and I had. Tara and I had went to a fight in Morristown about 6 or 7 years ago. And there were a few guys from the Shootbox Academy that were fighting there that night. And this one guy lost. And he lost bad. And for some odd reason, they interviewed him after the decision. And the first thing that he said was, I should have known that coming over to America, I wasn't going to get a decision. When I mean the place booed him out of existence, they booed him out of the fucking building. Him and the Shootbox Academy
I would have booed him out too.
Out of the building.
Oh, Jesus.
So
yeah, but
it's
whether he said that or
not,
not, he lost. It's not like that.
I don't think it happens
exists,
in the States, like Boston fighting in Boston.
It's more readily available. Yeah, apparent in another country. I think so too. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Right. Omar, what were you going to say before? I don't want to go back.
Like there's so like slightly unrelated, but the World Championship for Jiu-Jitsu went on this weekend in California, and it was the same deal. You have a bunch of Brazilian judges. I hate to say it, but it's facts. And if you're a Brazilian or you're grappling a Brazilian person, you have to catch the sub or completely dismantle your opponent.
Your guy, right?
Yeah, and pretty much. You have to just it has to look like a football score instead of a grappling match, and then you might have a chance at actually beating the guy. I mean, I fought internationally. It was the same thing. You go, and if it's a close decision,
here's my thing, dude. We were talking about a show in Morristown. You're talking about little low-level shows. Fine.
Yeah, but dude, Chris, I'm telling you, the human element still exists.
World Championships.
We're talking about the biggest stage, bro. The biggest stage in the fucking.
The World Championship for Jiu-Jitsu. The World Championship.
Bro, did you see what they just did? Did you see what they just did to Kelvin Gastelum, though, dude? Like, come on, think about it. Like, they fucked him in another country. Like, they don't care. These other people.
It's 100%.
Their own entity.
It's 100%
I
prevalent.
believe that.
In Japan,
Yes,
it's
and
still
I'm
the
always
time.
It also doesn't matter. It also doesn't matter what league it's in, because the judges that are some of the judges that are in the UFC
they're in the same right.
are
They're in
judging
the same,
local cards. You know what I mean? It's the athletic
Mhm.
commission. It doesn't matter who they're
I guess
judging.
You know
I
what
guess
it is?
A dick is a dick.
You know what it is? Well, a dick definitely is a dick, Tommy, and I can tell you firsthand. The thing is, Chris, I'm in the same school of thought with Chris, and I usually am the same way. Like, I never wanted to believe Barry Bonds was on steroids. I never wanted to believe that refs, shaved points in the NBA. I never wanted to believe that anything was fixed in the NFL. Like, I never wanted to believe that stuff. But as I got older, I started seeing more and more things, and I'm like, you know what? It's too obvious that it's the other way. I was so blinded by, like, my hope.
Hold up. There's no fixes in the NFL. Might be a guy here or there that's doing something because to protect his interests, but you're not having set outcomes and like the NFL.
Yeah, I understand that, but a ref can call a pass interference on any play. You can call a holding on any touchdown play. Any late flag that gets dropped can be a holding call, and it doesn't matter.
Because he has personal interest in it, and because he has stake in it, or because he got somebody threatening him.
Anything with that much money involved can fix it.
The NFL, you can't collectively have 53 guys on a team try to lose. Like,
you don't need
but you could have one ref. No, you could have one ref who watches the defensive backs calling a pass interference call on a touchdown play or an interception or a holding call on a fucking 8-yard touchdown run.
Look,
in overtime.
take away, you could call a penalty on any play. A ref could control a game, no doubt about it. I'm saying, but you're not getting a fix by the players, and you're not going to get a tank job.
I'm not saying
by
the players, but we're talking about officials here. We're talking about judges. We're not talking about fighters.
Yeah, of course, I just said there's nothing is fixed, but there's things that are altered to protect interests. That I do believe.
Absolutely. I believe it. And I just was trying to make a point because I see where you're coming from with that, Chris. So I know why you're taking that stance, but I think in this specific case that they gave Vitor the nod because it was
more
a close
bothersome
fight.
when it comes to fighting because you can get set back by a loss big time, man.
Hell yeah, but they're assuming that Vitor, that Nate, these guys are both at the end of their career, so that they really don't have much more of an arc.
Nate, if the fight was fixed, it wasn't the fighter's job to do it. It was the judges did it, or
and we're blaming the judges. I'm not blaming Vitor for raising his hands and saying yes, I did win, thank you. Of course not. The fighter's going to look at it even when he watches back the fight, he's going to still see things that he thought he did better than the other guy, no matter what, unless it's just a complete.
Well, it wasn't a close fight. It wasn't like Marquardt fucking starched him and then lost somehow. It was like
Yeah,
I
Vitor
think
did,
Marquardt got it, but it could go either way. That was like how I kind of felt about it.
Right. Well, I kind of agree with that too. Vitor then comes out afterwards saying he wants to reinvent himself yet again.
Look, I don't even believe that we're still talking about Vitor Belfort.
Well, we weren't really talking about Belfort for a while. We kind of went off on a tangent of fixing the sport.
Well,
I just can. But it is what. Listen, we have to fill an hour and a half, so believe me, I'm watching the time here. I'm making sure.
Yeah, I know. I said that to you last week.
Pace yourselves through, but we're 2 fights away from finishing up our first topic anyway. In a performance of the night, Claudia Gadelha defeated Karolina Kowalkiewicz, rear naked choke in round 1. Pretty much exactly as I suspected it was going to be. Claudia, I think, is on another level than Karolina. I think her record is pseudo Carolina's. I can't even see how she beat Rose. I don't know
why Karolina took that fight coming off of L to the champ. That's just so.
Yeah.
It's such a stupid fight.
Well, she wants to get back. She was blinded by it too.
You don't have. She's young enough. That's well played though, Omar. She's young enough. She's Polish. She's stupid.
She's Polish.
Oh my God, that was excellent. Excellent.
But look, she's young enough to where she could have taken like an easier fight, or fought like an Angie Overkill Hill or someone like that, and beaten a semi decent name, and then gotten right back in the picture. But taking straight L's, I don't know.
I agree with you. I'm sorry.
Dumb management.
I was going to say that she was given wrong information.
And that was quick too. That was a quick loss.
Oh hell yeah!
That wasn't even.
Her brain was
competitive.
But the only
her brain was gassed up because she hurt.
Is that she only lost to the two best. She only lost to the two best in her weight class in the world. So that's the only positive you could take. She,
Right.
But still 2 L's in a row sucks, man. She's gonna have to
better against Joanna because Joanna just stood there and fucking swung away and teed off on her. She wound up catching her leg with a couple rights.
Exactly.
Yeah, she caught her leg with a couple rights and literally took that momentum into
and
her next camp.
really, she didn't do that good again. Like upon further review, like we watched the fight again, she got the shit
Hell
beat
no.
out of
That's why I knew she was going to get beat by Claudia. I knew that because Claudia really did fight Joanna pretty decent. She wrestled
Did
around
Claudia
with her
change her
and
camp though? Is Claudia officially now?
Yeah.
I want to see. I want to see a third fight now, just because of that.
Yeah.
You know, the performance she
Claudia
had,
did
as well
say
as
that.
the
She's like, I'm a new fighter. She's like, I learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Joanna
So, you know,
Champion is training at ATT now too, so it's not like she's also
in the new camp, right?
But switch camp.
I don't
so
think
that's interesting.
I think she should go
Claudia
train at AKA.
doesn't-
That's what I think.
Oh, true.
She should go train at AKA.
And
what were you
get
going to say,
hurt?
Omar?
Way to go. That's messed
exactly.
up. But no, I'm just saying. I hope she doesn't, follow some dude to California. I hope she stays put where she is now in New Mexico, and, and continues to be a champion because we all know, had Ronda stayed put, things would have been different. I feel, but that's a topic for another day.
Right, right. Well, either way, Carolina, she's gonna have to go into rebuild mode, and she's gonna certainly take a hit in the rankings. I think we've seen the best of her already. I think she's gonna kind of like fade out now. She's is what it is. Claudia,
Keith Jardine of the women's strawweight division.
Oh my God, the nipple tweaking Keith Jardine.
Jesus
the ultimate gatekeeper.
Yeah. Claudia, like you said, Omar, you want to see a third fight? Like they're gonna have a tough time selling that to the fans.
Yeah, because of the.
No, they're not, because it's like who else is she gonna fight unless she, what else does she do? Who does she beat next? Like Claudia's the only one.
That's like saying Joe.
No, if she beats Rose, then who?
Claudia. It's
yeah,
gotta be.
like Demetrius Johnson, he's beaten fucking Benavidez fucking 3 times already.
Of course. Yeah.
And like Benavidez is going to get another shot soon.
No, they had a third fight that Chris was privy to in the back room. I don't think we know about it, but I think.
My bad. I was being.
They had a third fight on Twitch playing UFC 2 on Xbox.
And one of them was McGregor, and the other one was Diaz, and we know how that.
And Benavidez gets beaten in worse successively.
In Tekken.
Yeah.
Had a Tekken tag tournament.
Oh, what a great game.
Yep, you're welcome.
Tekken was almost as good as Street Fighter.
Did we just transition right to the Mighty Mouse TJ?
No, because we have to talk. We're not even going to talk about that yet. Obviously, in the fight of the night, the Holloway-Aldo fight, Holloway wins, third round TKO by, beautiful 1-2 combination. Downs Aldo, gets on him, rains down on him. Aldo covers up like a freaking in a fetal position.
We could all agree that Frankie's going to get the next shot at Max, right? Pretty much.
Well, let's discuss this fight
first. About the next shot. Fuck talking about that. Let's talk about the fact that this is the second time Jose Aldo fought some way that he never usually fights and ends up getting starched.
I got to be honest with
you. When he goes on the offensive like he was, it's not his style. He's a counter puncher. He's a counter striker. That's his bread and butter.
That's what he did with Frankie. He countered Frankie pretty well.
Honestly, he was countering well in the first 2 rounds. That's what he was using, his counters. But what happened was
the first round he wasn't counting. The first round, he was swinging for the fences.
Yeah,
the first round.
When you start to realize, I'm hitting this motherfucker with everything, and he's still coming forward, then you start to change your mindset a little bit. And you're like, wow, like he just looked timid in the third round.
He had Holloway
because he had no gas left.
He had Holloway
wide open.
You can't.
At the end of the
once
first
you start
round.
missing shots,
it was.
Holloway started fighting at range, and Aldo started missing shots. When you miss the big punches like that, and he wasn't throwing combinations. He was throwing maybe 2 at a time. You can't win like that. You just can't. You guys.
Yeah, I don't know what's going through his head anymore. It's weird. His heart seems to be in it, but his head is somewhere else.
Well, that's what I was thinking about. Like, I was watching a video before, and they were showing, like, Conor McGregor, and he was watching, like, Dustin Poirier after, he beat Poirier. They accentuated that he, like, apologized to Aldo after the fight. And, like, you don't like seeing guys after they lose Connor said it especially. He's like, I hate that shit.
Yo, some of these people take losing way too hard.
Right, and I thought about Aldo going back. You're in a sport where you put it all on the line every time you go out there against the best in the world. You're gonna fucking take L's, man. You can't be like the end all be all for you. You got to fight back. It proves a lot for somebody. Like, I mean, Aldo did fight back. He beat Frankie after losing to Connor in the most embarrassing way. So I'll give him that. He was resilient there, but. Yeah, but he was gifted a belt and then lost in his next fight. You know, like, it's just bad.
He looked so destroyed after
That's why,
fight,
though.
dude.
Think about him going back to his wife and kid and
having the face hurt. It was in Rio. It was just like,
man.
You almost felt for him, but I kind of didn't because I hate his guts and I hate his coach.
You know what it is? And I'm not an Aldo fan at all, but he's done so much in the sport and has been on top for so long.
Yo, I hate when people say that, dude. I'm sorry, Tommy, but I hate when people say just because he was the best at his weight class, he had the opportunity to do so much. He didn't do shit, really. He didn't elevate that.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He was the top, and he won
fights though, Chris.
Just because you did that for a period of time doesn't mean you did anything for the sport. He actually didn't do shit. He fought as little as possible. He ducked fights. He ran from people. I never fucking had respect for the way he was as a champion. I'm sorry.
I see what you're saying, Chris, but Tommy isn't wrong when he says, you know, like, the guy won fights. He reigned as champion.
No, he deserves his respect for his ability, for what he's done inside the cage, but he hasn't done anything for the sport itself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
You don't think that he like, started people who aren't even old enough to be in the UFC yet to, like, get inspired to train, who one day might be in the sport? Like, that's doing things for the sport.
I mean, like by somebody
admiring
his skills inside the cage, maybe so. But how come Brazil has kind of fallen off of late, if you ask me?
Because of USADA.
Yeah, because of the IVs.
Yeah. Let's be serious.
Oh, you guys are funny.
And even, Carl, what did I say 3 times during that fight? Aldo looks like he's on sauce. His back, his arms, like he's bigger than he ever looked in terms of like.
But yo, how about this?
Did Aldo also in your house after that happened because you said it 3 times? Did Aldo just magically jump in like the Candyman and listen?
Omar, are you literally just dropping like fuck? You're like the Harley Quinn of this episode. Every line you drop is a one-liner. It's fucking beautiful.
That's why I call him the professor.
I love it. I love it a lot. But you don't think it has anything to do with him fucking throwing hella punches in the first 2 rounds and then getting his muscles full of blood? You know, like he bulked up after that.
When you throw hella, like how come a guy like Nate Diaz could throw a billion punches? Max has volume.
Because he knows how to throw a punch. He didn't, like you said. Aldo was putting everything into it. It was that big,
Aldo
big swooping
muscular, and he got tired too fast. He didn't throw crazy.
It also goes down to conditioning too.
Fucking guys. You know? It's the big punches that he's thrown all the time. Nate knows how to throw a punch.
Yeah, but
he's got way more endurance. You can't compare Nate to anybody.
That's what it is. Aldo doesn't have the endurance. He's always been known that when a championship rounds come around, he slows down. Puncher, it's a little bit different for him. Like the first Frankie fight. Frankie was catching him those last 2 rounds, but he just ran out of time. That's all it was. He just ran out of time. That's all it is, but it's...
No, I'm just saying, like, where does Aldo go? Where does Aldo go from here? Like, what does he do?
Fucking back to Brazil and retires with his fucking sorry ass.
Well, okay, he can go retire, but what I think he's going to do, like Omar just said, Chris, you said he's getting bigger. Why not go try your luck in the 155 division? Maybe you'll back your way into another fight with Connor somewhere down the road.
He's still a featherweight, dude. He will look really tiny in that weight class.
I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Edson Barbosa. That'd be a pretty good fight.
Holy shit, that would be an amazing fight.
Yeah.
Christ.
It would probably end up being boring. They'd probably stay in that kicking range the entire time
and kick each other? That's not boring.
But not because they would have too much respect for each other, and that would be one of those where it's like, I don't know. I don't
They're
like
both
fights
waiting to counter each other.
When you think like this fight makes so much sense, they're such like the same style kind of. And then they fight each other, and it's like they just stand in front of each other because there's too much respect for that style.
Do us a favor, listeners. Log into www.priderulesmma.com. Check out the Neon Belly blog. My post literally discusses the styles and how they make fights and how sometimes wrestlers versus wrestlers end up in a boxing brawl and punchers, who respect other punchers end up in a boring, like, feeling each other out fight. It's things like what Chris just said, and that shit does happen, man. Like, styles make fights, and it's the truest statement in the world. I think Aldo he's not going to retire because he's too young to still make some money, but his days of being the greatest are over. And it's sad to see athletes who are at the top of their game, like, take the smallest, like, get the smallest kink in their armor, and then they fall so far from grace because of how elevated their game was at one point. Like, although still wax poetic with the majority of 55ers, majority of 45ers, most of them, and, just because he's not the pound-for-pound best anymore and he got beat by two of the best in the sport at their divisions, Joe Rogan said Conor's the best featherweight of all time because he beat Aldo, who was the best featherweight, and now Max on an 11-fight win streak. Just because he lost those 2 fights doesn't mean he's like the bottom feeder of the division now. So, who knows? It's gonna tell a lot where his brain is with the direction that he chooses in his path.
I just don't see how he could get up for a fight, like still in the prime of his career in terms of his age, how he could get up for a fight that's not a title fight. Or at least for like a position to fight for a title.
Because you were fucking given a belt, you were gifted a belt and you lost it.
I know, but like my point is, it's like, he's done it all already. What does he have to prove?
Yeah, but who does he fight? That's the other question.
That's my point. Like, is he going to fight Jeremy Stevens? Is he going to fight some guy that he could surely beat, but just to get some swagger back?
Rodriguez, you know what I mean? Who's he going to fight?
No, Yair
Rodriguez
really he shouldn't take that fight. He should fucking regroup. He shouldn't take the hardest fight available right now.
Well, that's why I think 55.
No, but what I'm saying is there's a lack of top competitors to fight him for anything in 145. I think he needs to move up or maybe move down.
To fight top
That's
competitors.
also the problem when you run through the division the way Max did. He took too long to get a title shot, and now he's beating everybody. So who the fuck are you excited to see Max fight at featherweight right now that he hasn't already fought? Edgar.
No
that's
offense,
it.
Yair Rodriguez.
Frankie,
Edgar.
the only
those
fight.
Are 2 fights. The only
Yeah, but
fights
Frankie just dismantled Yair Rodriguez.
I
so
understand
that,
but he's the only
that's
guy
why
with
I say
up and
those
coming.
fights don't make sense, Carl. Remember when I said to you back in the day, I was like, these guys shouldn't fight each other until they get to the top.
Well, not
they
for nothing. Everyone thought that Yair Rodriguez was going to beat Frankie Edgar, and that's the career. That's what the UFC thought. Well, the UFC, I'm saying the UFC brand.
No, that's what their plan was. They wanted that to happen.
Because of the way he beat BJ Penn. But didn't he who did he fight right before that? What the fuck's the guy's name? It was
Yair Rodriguez?
well-known. Yeah.
BJ Penn.
No. Before that, who did he fight? Oh
what,
my God! Why am I fucking drunk?
Bruce Leroy.
Yeah. Yes, Bruce Leroy, and he almost
the biggest
lose the
win
fight?
of his career before BJ Penn.
Right, and he almost lost the fight, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they got blinded by, they all forgot about that fight because he beat BJ Penn so bad, and it was like, I fell victim to it. Chris, you checked me on the show a couple weeks back. You were like, dude, he ain't as great as people make him out to be. He just, he beat an aging, slow, out of shape BJ Penn. Big fucking deal. So he might not be the truth, but he's got enough of a skill set to think, people still think of him as exciting because of his kicks and his style. It's almost like Wonder Boy-esque, but on a smaller scale. But it's just it's the lack of competitors in the division. That's it. That's why Frankie's almost guaranteed a shot.
Yair got exposed, He's got to work on his wrestling hardcore.
Big time.
Because everybody, if you can't wrestle like that, you better be able to stop the wrestler from taking you down. It's simple
or at least be able to get up.
He should train with Aaron Pico, in my opinion.
Chris was talking about that guy before. Yeah, Chris was talking about him the other day. He's definitely the truth, Omar. You called that out. Am I still kind of far away, Tom? I know you wrote something before.
No, you're
you
right here
were
with
a little
me.
bit.
I was? All right. Yeah, no, I was scratching my dick, so I put the phone down.
Thank God.
Okay.
You went away when you did that.
Great.
Good
all right,
Lord.
so basically we kind of put the career paths of both fighters in our crosshairs because obviously Holloway's going to wind up fighting Frankie just because there's no other fight for him, and Aldo either retires or goes to 55 or literally is now the gatekeeper of the 45-pound division and just waits for another fight because he got knocked out, so he's definitely a year away from fighting. You're not going to see Jose Aldo fight for another year, no matter what. Whether he was the champ or not, he wouldn't have fought for a year. That's just the way he goes. So, I just think that at this point, neither here nor there, but those guys are basically done with what they got coming. I like Holloway a lot, though. He's the truth. Everything he said.
No, he was amazing. He was great.
even before the fight, he's like, listen, I don't care if I fought a guy already. He's like, you don't see the Cavaliers going, I beat Golden State last year. I don't need to play them this year. No, a fight is a fight. There's no such thing as MMA math when you're talking about the winner of a fight. Anybody can win at any time with any punch, any shot. It doesn't even matter. So it's like a breath of fresh air. I like Max a lot. It's hard for anybody to hate the dude just because of his personality and what he brings and what he's done in the fight game so far for himself, for his career. So, I'm excited to see what's on the horizon for him. But I wanted to talk about something.
The only problem I had with him was, bringing up the Conor stuff. It's like, just stop. You're not gonna. Yeah, you're not gonna like try and embarrass the guy into coming back and saying, "All right, well, I guess I'm gonna have to fight you," because no.
I get, listen, every fighter wants to put Conor McGregor in their mouth because you never know what it's going to, like Nick Diaz put the guy's name in his mouth and backed his way into a multi-million-dollar payday and literally changed his life because of it. But what Max said was dumb. He's going to have to come beg me. Like, dude, he don't give a fuck. That's still his title in my eyes. Like, I don't even care. You beat the guy that he beat, for your belt. Big fucking deal. You got to beat Conor first. You lost to him, so you ain't the champ of shit. But
it's never going to happen. So it's like it's pointless to even bring up. It's not going to happen.
Exactly. Conor will never go back down to 45. He could if he wants. There's no reason for him to. There's no reason. He's fighting Floyd Mayweather next. He's not going to fight fucking Max Holloway. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, now you're on that bandwagon.
I'm not, but it's going to happen. I hate it, but it's going to definitely happen. But we'll get into that. I wanted to talk about something, guys. I don't understand this in the least bit, and it's something that I'm trying to wrap my head around. This fucking Reebok deal and how this endorsement or sponsorship is supposed to work, because I look at the payouts of what Reebok paid these fighters, and it's literally all over the board. Like, some fighters who are nobodies are getting paid for so much, and some guys and girls who are good are getting paid nothing. Let me just run through it real quick. Aldo and Holloway got $40,000 each, fine. Belfort, Marquardt, $20,000 each, also fine. Assunção earned $15,000 for his win. Yuri Alcantara also won $15,000, and I can't see how that's even possible. Claudia and Carolina. Claudia won $5,000. Carolina won $2,500. Yancy Medeiros won $5,000, and Eric Silva, who lost, got $10,000 from Reebok. Like, is it just a number of fights under your belt in the UFC? Is that like how they work? Is it like a tenured thing, or?
Yeah.
It's pretty much okay.
Yeah, it's
so that makes more sense.
That's
what I was going to
management. Yeah, it's
right. Okay,
it's totally.
Then I have no problem with it, because I'm looking at this. I'm like, how is Yuri making all that money when you got Claudia only making $5,000? And then I'm like, all right, she's a woman, but that's so sexist, and it's bullshit because they share the same stage as the men.
Like, you double your payout, or you add to your payout on a win. If you're on a win streak, if you're on a losing streak, you lose money. It's weird.
So you like double down. It's like playing like no Texas Hold'em against the dealer at AC, where you can put like a chip in the bonus spot and win on that if you get pockets.
No, you're essentially the chip, and you're going to fight. You get put in the pot to fight the other chip. That's essentially how that goes.
That's an interesting take on it.
It's a robbery either way. Any way you slice it, it's straight up Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and the fighters are on the wrong end
that
of the
Reebok
bank
is owned by Adidas?
Yes, Reebok's owned by Adidas.
Because I love
Nike Adidas. Owns Puma too.
And I love Puma.
Because the NFL did the thing. Like the NFL does the thing. They license their uniforms to Reebok and Adidas, and then they change it when their contract's over to Nike and Puma. Then they change it back to Reebok and Adidas. So it's like weird. It's like, almost being monopolized. It's like Toyota owns Lexus, Kia and Hyundai are the same owners. Like, it's fucking – Joe Rogan said it once. He was like, you go over to Japan.
All the money comes to a point at the top somewhere. It comes to a point.
Right. Joe Rogan's like, there's no Acuras over in Japan.
You ever watch 30 Rock, bro?
You want a luxury car, you want an Acura, not a fucking Honda.
Best example of that, if you ever seen 30 Rock, the TV show, where like
the second. This is the second reference, isn't it, to the show today?
With the Scheinhart Wig Company. Did Chris mention my sponsor for the podcast? Or no?
But it's true, man. Like you look at what is it, GE? They run NBC. They run, it's like there's just one parent company that runs every fucking thing. And then you look at what's underneath them, and it's a major TV network. It's a major pharmaceutical company. They have a little bit of stake in everything.
It's weird. So I just found that odd. It's amazing because if Aldo and Holloway can make $40,000 through Reebok, like Marquardt,
that's robbery though too. Stop it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, even if it was a subpar, terrible pay-per-view buy situation, which I hope it wasn't, even though it was overall it wasn't anything to blow your hair back, but the money that the company makes versus what those guys get paid, it's terrible. We saw it at the Fighter Summit.
Mm-hmm.
You see it on these payouts, like we were talking about before the podcast, Carl. You hear, on the Big Brown Breakdown, Schaub had Chris's favorite fighter, Ryan Bader, on there saying how he was making $80,000 before Reebok. He made $15,000 when Reebok was there, and then now that he's back with Bellator, he's back in the $80,000 category. That's a huge swing.
And it's crazy.
Think about it.
And it's literally a callback to what Tommy brought up in the first goddamn episode. That's why. Listen, we don't have a UFC fighter co-hosting the podcast with us, but I listen to Frank Mir's podcast. We're better than his podcast. Like, I wouldn't listen to his podcast. I'd listen to our show because we have opinions that I think are more relevant to the sport. This guy just kind of goes with his stupid, personality off on a tangent where he thinks he's better than everybody. I can't stand him to begin with, but that's neither here nor there. Like, we've talked about this for a long time now, and Chris has brought up the whole thing, would you rather be a champion in Bellator or bob around the middle of the UFC? And, Tommy has said the whole thing about the endorsements where, fighters are going to start, defecting and going to other promotions. Even Kareem
it makes a difference.
Yeah, it really does. We've been talking about
if you're getting undercut,
I feel like it's going to be after you already fought in the UFC and, you kind of get a bad taste in your mouth about it, but you want to fulfill your dream as to try to become the UFC champ, and then you realize that's not happening. Well, I might as well go make as much as I can in Bellator. I feel then,
Tommy, what were you saying? Finish it off.
If you're getting undercut in your payout, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure Demetrius Johnson's not making as much as he wants to for each one of his fights. If
Demetrius
he was
Johnson's
in Bellator,
a fucking bitch, though. He makes me sick with his fucking
it's
words.
an example.
Whoa.
It's an example. It's
an
example.
He won't promote himself. He's like, I'm getting mad at people not promoting me. But go promote yourself. Put the video game down for a fucking minute.
Or
get
keep
out
them
there
up
and fucking do something on social media.
and make
do
some money
something.
through
Call
them.
somebody out. Talk shit in a fight. Do something. Promote
But somebody
yourself.
like him could make probably double what he's making
And grow
in the UFC in Bellator.
Gain 70 pounds. Maybe
That's
Wow.
Go eat a fucking
You're
burger,
a
you
sizist.
125-pound bitch.
You're a sizist,
Guy's
Chris.
about to break the fucking record that nobody's going to ever touch again.
Yeah,
Dude,
seriously.
And nobody gives a
He would
fucking
beat
rat's
the
ass
ever-loving
about it.
shit out of me. He would beat the ever-loving shit out of all four of us,
All of
probably
us.
at the same time. I would
Right.
give him even more.
Well,
I'm serious.
Omar,
With
if
how
Omar,
quick
if
he
he's
is-
got you in a rear naked choke, I'm sleeping that motherfucker. Believe
Oh,
me.
gee, well,
I'm telling you
I've
right
heard
now.
you like hitting people behind the head, and if he had a wig on, it would get you even more excited
Hey,
to
if
hit
he's
him.
got me in a rear naked choke, you're just gonna put him in one, and you're gonna sleep
Yo,
in
this
too.
gentleman
So
is 5 foot
human
3
centipede.
inches tall.
The human centipede of rear naked chokes. Oh, Jesus
the
Christ.
jiu-jitsu human centipede.
This gentleman is 5'3" inches tall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
And he
talking about
levitates.
best fighter. We're talking about best fighter on the planet. Get the fuck out of here.
And he
Get
levitates
the
when he
fuck
strikes.
Yo, how
Anybody
about this?
that
There
can do
hasn't
that
been
to Henry Cejudo.
He
Is
does.
an
You're
animal.
crazy. When you said that, Omar, it made me think. Like, he actually does do that. Like, you could see it in the highlights. There's one time where he kicked the dude and fell because he jumped up to kick him. This is funny.
Seriously. Dude got rocket boost in
anyway,
his
back
ass.
to-
head that you do not have to jump anywhere to kick that fucking thing. You could just pretty much swing your foot anywhere and it's going to land on Henry Cejudo's head.
Are you
Back to the
gonna
topic at
start
hand here.
Are you gonna start tweeting him and trying to meet him at his gym, Chris? Is that where we're going with this?
Oh my
You
God.
want to take this here now, Omar? You really want to get me going now?
I'm trying to
If there was
set
a fighter that I
something
would
up.
ever want to do that to, it would be Henry Cejudo. So yes, maybe.
You heard it here first. Oh my Lord,
Terrible.
Chris, you're the man.
So anyway, yeah, the sponsorships have a big part in it. It's a huge part. Eddie Gordon, when he was on the show, said the same thing. You know, the UFC has their sponsors, and honestly, the only one who's benefiting from that is Cerrone.
That's a fact. Unless you make it big, you don't make money.
Well,
Yeah, I hear you.
Cerrone's not making it like huge. He's never won a belt, but he's got
But
all
Cerrone's
the
the
same
fucking
sponsors
dumbest
that the
stuff.
UFC
He
has.
signs any contract that they put in front of him. It's not his fault. It's not.
Oh my
That's
God.
not the UFC's fault.
That's
Yeah,
his
but
team.
What I'm saying is he's capitalizing because he's sponsored by Budweiser. He's sponsored by Monster, which are the big sponsors in the UFC. So he's making out of the deal, and he's making out of the Reebok deal because he was fighting every 2 weeks. And winning.
Yeah, but he's also fighting.
There's different ways to do it.
Top-ranked guys and not making the money that he should, I think.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? He's got his life etched out. He's got his own friggin' gym on his ranch.
No,
He's making money. He parlayed his celebrity into it. Right. There's different ways for fighters to do it. It's just it all matters of maximizing your potential.
I'm just saying that,
and Cerrone
he
can fight
makes
every
his
damn
money.
day.
He's like a volume guy. He just fights so much that he's getting sponsorship money for fucking, because you fight 6 times a year. Of course, you're going to make a lot of money in a year. He doesn't even have time
It's like
to spend
running
his
through
money.
a bunch of 5s and being like, I'm a ladies' man, as opposed to going after the 10s and being like, I'm a real big dick Willie. I get it,
right on the air. That's
Diaz
great.
And Cerrone.
Listen,
Diaz
I banged
is going
5
after
2s in a
10.
night, and it's a 10.
Diaz is going
That's a
after
10.
10, and Cerrone will fight a bunch of
Well,
5.
fuck.
Fuck a bunch
He
of
was
5s or
about to
4s.
say, no, Chris. Chris was about to go, Cerrone will fuck a bunch of 2s, and he won't give a shit. And I go, oh, Chris.
I was going to say that.
That's tremendous.
So yeah, Carl, that sponsorship
Fucking
does
giddy
play,
up.
You
fucking hard.
sponsorship does play a big part in these guys' decisions where they want to fight. It's a huge part.
Yeah. No, I agree.
If Bader's making the kind of money now in the UFC before the Reebok deal, what does that tell you?
How dare you?
I don't want to talk about Ryan Bader. Yeah, I get it, Tom. You're 100% right. But, we're talking about marketing themselves. And the whole thing that's going on now, which I want to switch topics real quick, this Demetrius Johnson, TJ Dillashaw nonsense where, literally is the 5th fighter in, I think, 5 shows or 4th fighter in 4 shows now that has come out talking shit about Dana White. It's definitely not a good look for Dana. He's starting to make enemies at the top of, each division and, with legends in the sport. And, it seems like while he's running around trying to promote Conor.
Dana White don't give a rat's ass.
He don't care. No, I said that before the show. I literally said it to these guys before the show. Dana don't give a shit. He's doing what he's got to do, and he's living his life.
Dana thrives off of this shit.
Dana don't even have a job right now. Dana's literally just a front man, like Omar said, for the UFC. As fans, we're used to seeing Dana, and fans are creatures of habit.
He's the pincushion. He takes the heat. He takes the media. Dana, they'll never get rid of Dana White because he takes on the fucking pressure. He takes off the pressure of every decision that they make, and he puts it on himself. He's a good person to have.
He's good at his job. He's good at his job. Right.
Because you don't give a fuck what anybody thinks.
Right. He keeps the CEOs away from the friggin' fans.
He just makes no sense, though. He makes no sense in what he said that, Demetrius, the fighters don't make the decisions. I make the decisions. Really?
You're fighting August 19th. Right. Exactly.
Really?
I don't have to fucking sign shit, dude.
When?
What are you talking about?
Since when?
Let me just
you'll never break that record. You're going to fight who I tell you to fight, or you're not going to fight at all. Especially if you're
Let me just read the summary. Let me read the summary of what Demetrius Johnson came out with.
Do you have the cliff notes of that? Because I had to take a lunch break to. That was a massive statement that he released.
Yeah, no, it literally is the cliff notes.
Taller than him.
If you type that
up on a piece of paper, it would, and you stood it up, it would fucking stand taller than Demetrius Johnson.
It was 5'4". It was 5
that
feet 4
was
inches.
Kick Demetrius Johnson's ass. Let me tell you.
Oh,
Demetrius Johnson's statement would beat the shit out of Demetrius Johnson.
So would you, right? Chris will beat Demetrius Johnson, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. He'll beat the fucking shit out of
She weighs 115 fucking pounds.
Claudia.
She's a female. She's going to beat me up.
He beat Claudia. No, he beat Holly Holm. That's what he said the other day. I beat Holly Holm. She'd kick your head right off of your neck, dude. You'd walk around as fucking Ichabod Crane for the rest of your life.
She better not let me hit her one time. That's all I'm saying. If I connect,
you ain't gonna hit her one time. She's gonna hit you so flush. The first time she swings, you're falling, and you're gonna be like, "Where am I?" That's what's gonna happen.
She probably has cousins.
She's still a chick that weighs 135
Chris,
pounds.
I think you're really overestimating.
These chicks are badass.
Yeah.
I think you're underestimating the fact that she's a female. And that I got 65 pounds on her. 70 pounds.
65 pounds of fat and slow. That's all I'm saying. Not know how to throw a punch like she does. She'll snap that punch and
since I don't know how to throw a punch. Okay.
No, all right. You know how to throw a punch, but not like her.
I'm not going to accept that either.
Can we get back? Can we get back to this? We got Chris talking about beating on women. Are you fucking War Machine all of a sudden?
Listen,
I'm saying
my God,
saying that
36 to life, War Machine. War Machine got 36 to life for his freaking charges. He's done.
Yeah.
He's not eligible for parole for 36 years. He's going to be like 60 years old when he gets out.
They're putting him under the jail and fuck that
Under
guy.
the jail.
But
fuck
anyway.
him. Fuck him. You know, he beat that girl's ass and that dude's ass. But anyway, I'm going to read the summary real quick. It's good. It's quick. In summary, I agreed to their tyrannical demand to fight Ray Borg, and Ray also agreed. Shut up. He did say he beat up Cyborg, but that doesn't count because she's a man and she'd kick your ass.
No, I
agreed to this.
I said it's not like I said I'd beat up Cyborg like a real man.
Cyborg would beat the shit out of me. I'll be the first one to say that.
She would choke me with her fucking penis.
I don't know about that, but I think she could probably. She'd probably hit me.
So Carl, go ahead. Go for it.
I agreed to their tyrannical demand to fight Ray Borg, and Ray also agreed. UFC has refused to give me pay-per-view points on any future flyweight bout and has never given me any pay-per-view points on previous bouts. Shut the fuck up. My request is fair, and the matchmaker in charge of the flyweight and bantamweight division agreed. I gave UFC fair conditions to change the fight to TJ Dillashaw, and they refused. Dana and Sean have told me that they have no interest in marketing me or smaller divisions. So when they say I will make pay-per-view money versus Dillashaw, they leave out the fact that I have to hit certain numbers of buys, which will not be hit if they fail to market with me in the way they did for previous fights. If TJ doesn't make weight, I can't break the record in the most consecutive title defenses, denying and being denied paying me in that circumstance. Dana has made efforts to bully me in the media as well as in private in order to get what he wants, even though he has no shot from not what's for the best. Basically, what's saying is he's saying that he agreed to fight Ray Borg, and now that TJ Dillashaw fight fell through with Cody, they want to make the Cody TJ and DJ fight, and now they're basically stripping Ray Borg of the chance and stripping DJ of pay-per-view money. And if TJ doesn't make weight, then he's going to have no chance to, break the consecutive title record, which, if that fight just doesn't happen, if TJ doesn't make weight and the fight doesn't happen, there's no replacement.
Just says, I'm not fighting. Yeah, what is he talking about? He's trying to tailor the argument to fit what he wants people to think is right.
Yeah, but, dude, he has a point there.
Of course he does.
Of course he does,
but at the end of the day, you fucking are the champion, and you're going to fight. You know, it's not like TJ's not worthy of that shot over Ray Borg, because he is. He's a better fighter. And if he can make 25, he deserves the title shot over him because he's next in line at 35.
Even though he's never fought in the division before,
Ray
he
Borg,
just gets to come
I don't care
and fight.
what you say. I don't care what you say. I will fucking beat the shit out of Ray Borg. All right?
What? Okay, so here we go. Timeout.
Bro, Ray Borg would kick the fucking shit out of you.
Ray Borg would eat your ass like Kobayashi.
Google Ray Borg and then click on the word images, and then tell me that he's beating me up.
Dude, you ain't no killer,
Here's
bro.
the other thing.
Yeah.
If TJ fights Demetrius Johnson,
go ahead.
Right, next. Now, Cody, his back injury goes. Now, who's Cody's opponent? Cruz again?
TJ.
It's fucking stupid.
Germany.
Dana cuts off his nose to fight his face. You know what I mean? It just makes no sense.
What do you mean?
I guess right.
What do you mean, yo? What do you mean?
He has the UFC best interest in mind that he doesn't care about the fighters. This is
mean,
clearly stated by all these fighters coming out and hating him.
Cody's next opponent is TJ, no matter what happens.
But they're talking about DJ fighting TJ now.
Yeah.
So
not even in August. So by then, let's say TJ gets knocked out and gets what happened with Ronda Rousey happens to TJ, where he needs facial surgery and he's out for a year. Then that puts Cody on the back burner.
Fight anyway, because you just lost to a midget or a small person.
Yo.
Sorry.
You might as well have just said the N-word on air.
Seriously.
Jesus.
I just corrected myself. I said small person right after that.
Little person.
It just all doesn't make sense. Dana doesn't think things through.
No, well,
he ends up shooting himself
here's the thing, Tommy. Tommy, he's got a business to run. He's got a business to run, so he's got to make the best interest. Whichever happens first, he's got to make that fight happen. He has obligation to the fans who paid money to see that card already. He has to fulfill it somehow to make these fans someone might have paid $50 extra just because of that fight was on the card. Now that fight's no longer on the card, and the tickets are now selling for cheaper. They got to try to juice the card up so they get the ticket sales on the secondary market and even in the initial market back up.
If you think
so
the
these
UFC
fans
is
are
worried
fair.
about the secondary market ticket sales, you're crazy, dude. They do not.
But the main market drives up the secondary market, so it doesn't really matter
Those
because
tickets never
you know
go
what the
cheap,
UFC
dude.
is
They're
falling
the same
victim
price.
to?
They never go cheaper. They're expensive.
Yeah,
as
the
shit,
UFC.
no matter where you sit.
The UFC is falling victim. We're starting to see.
Buy
I think.
tickets on eBay or
if I buy my ticket on TicketJew today, 3 months ago, say I bought my ticket as soon as they came out on TicketJew, and then Chris bought his tickets in a month from now, and we're sitting next to each other, like I could have paid more because of the Garbrandt-Cody Dillashaw fight.
Like anything, dude. That's like saying, like, well, buy Game 7 tickets before there's a Game 7 because they're really cheap. But then as soon as Game 7 comes, those tickets are really expensive. It's like, but what happens
when you're making fights, when you don't have Adam Silver picking the teams that play in that Game 7. You have to make fights. It's not the same.
I see
it's not
that
like
there's
a tournament.
another side of it. I see that point, but it's not like there's no fights on the card, dude.
Yeah, but
like
it's the main event, bro.
Best.
The fucking main event is the main event.
They're going to do their best, and that's what they're trying to do.
Why is Jimmy Manuwa? Right, but why is Jimmy Manuwa on hold for the John Jones-Daniel Cormier fight, just in case something happens with Jones? Because they have to try to make a fight still that's
hold.
worthy.
They're essentially what they're doing is that's called smart matchmaking, where you put guys in the same weight class around the same kind of like ranking on the same card in case something happens. You have a safety net,
Yeah, no, I agree, but that's why
a better safety net would be? You know what a better safety net would be for a lot of these situations? Like, look at what we're facing. All this is in flux because Cody is injured, right? And he went out there. He tried to get what he could get done with, the crazy magical stem cells over in Germany, which apparently you can't get in this country. That's debatable. But what I think, yeah, exactly. But what I think you're facing is the UFC is finally reaping the fruits of its horrendous practices with regards to its labor force. If the UFC offered some sort of safety net with regards to the benefits that it had in place for these fighters, you'd have folks taking care of their bodies, probably a lot less amount of these crazy pullouts, right? Would you have had my man GSP walking around with a goddamn floater in his eye if he could at least go and get checked out? And he's one of the ones that had the money to do it, but he still never got it checked out. And Cody, obviously, God bless him, maybe the UFC's breaking him off some cake to get this done to see if he can save the card. But why? The stuff is dying. The product is in flux because these bastards are being crazy with what they're doing with their labor force. They're like, you know what, fuck it, figure it out. We pay you enough. Take care of yourself. How many fighters, does Tom know, do I know, do you guys know, that would do that?
I'm curious. Just a quick question. Like Dana sent Cody to Germany. That was his thing.
Yeah.
Like if they can't fix it, nobody can. But they could do it in the United States. Like you just have this better doctor who could do it. That's what I don't get. So when it doesn't happen, now it falls through and it's you're basically you're doing. Everyone's gonna look at you like you're an idiot. But that's kind of what you were saying. But like let me ask you something. I know they cover fighter injuries in the octagon, but they don't cover it during like fight camp and shit, right? Like RDA broke his foot.
No,
RDA broke his foot.
If you get the flu, you better have fucking Obamacare.
Right? Right, Chris?
This is a fucking
Chris
problem,
is 100%
yo.
correct.
The fighters need to strike. That's what's going to have to happen.
But here's the thing: you're an independent contractor at that point, so you kind of
because
it's like
there's
if you
no
drive
players
a truck,
union in place.
If you drive a tractor trailer around the country and you deliver fucking food to food stores for a living, right? You don't get insurance.
Food to the food stores.
I'm just making a point. You drive a truck. You're a private fucking contractor. If you're a courier, you work for yourself. You have to fucking make sure you're insured, and that's it.
Yeah, but are you delivering stuff for a company that just sold for $4 billion? Because if you did, they'd offer you fucking insurance.
So on a smaller scale, so say I bring you into my fight camp, do I have to give you insurance too, health insurance too, because you're coming in to my fight camp to help me out?
No, but dude, like this is like
sign a waiver.
The fucking when the labor agreement, if in football in the 80s when the labor agreement ran out, if the players didn't strike, they wouldn't have had the players union in place today, giving them.
These cats are all signing these contracts with these rules in place. It's not like the rules are not known to them. They're privy to these rules before they ever sign with the UFC.
But that's why I said they have to go on a
strike.
strike. The fighters have to collectively come together and say, you know what, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. I don't care.
Exactly.
And it's going to take guys of
until
all
that
ranks.
that happens collectively, then nobody could say shit. Until one big
right.
guy says, you know what, I'm not doing this no more. And
You're
then
right.
the next guy
One guy's going to say, you know what, I'm not fighting anymore. And then, you know, you're going to have like GSP come out and say, you know what, fuck this. I'm just going to retire because God forbid I get hurt, you know, in training camp. No one's going to pay for my injuries but me. And then they need a guy like Jorge Masvidal to be like, you know what, fuck this. Or Ally Kip is saying, you know what, I can sell houses. I don't need to fucking fight. I'm going to strike until you guys get this shit right.
No, they don't need a couple guys to do that. They need fucking everybody at the top to do that.
The entire company has to do it.
Not necessarily. They need more than half. They need more than half, and guys, you know, of all ranks to do it. They need this to be a somewhat collective effort because in the NFL, Joe Montana crossed the picket line and shit.
Bro. It doesn't even have to be a union. They don't even have to unionize. They could just straight up say, we're not fighting, and nobody's going to fight until we're not a union. You know what I mean? You could have a couple guys cross the picket line, but you ain't going to have a real good product without, you know, the Jones-Cormier fight. If Jones-Cormier, right before a main event, we're like, fuck this, we're not fighting until you give us this. To save the card, you know, they could win, you know, or Connor does it, say, again, you know, goes to bat for everybody. And it's like, let's just not fight.
I agree. That definitely needs to happen. We got a caller. Kareem? I think it's Kareem, correct?
This is Horror Machine. Horror Machine.
Oh, shit. You actually sound like him, too. What's up, bro?
I'm calling just to say I think that Mighty Mouse is really bitching up, man. And if he was any type of champion like my main man Conor McGregor, he'd be taking on all comers, no matter who it is. But he's just like too focused on.
We have another caller.
Yo. What's going on, fellas?
Hey.
Yo,
Mike.
what's up, bro?
Ain't nothing, man.
Congratulations.
I'm calling so late.
The hell?
Thank you, yes.
I'm confused what the hell just happened, but whatever. What's up, Mike? How you doing? You're happy? I know your entire island's probably kicking, huh?
Yeah, everybody's pretty happy out here. A lot of Facebook updates, you know. A lot of people getting behind the fighter. It's good to see. It's good to see people a fan of a fighter just for being a fighter, and not for being a movie star.
Nice. Mike with the shade.
Oh man,
love it.
Coming out swinging.
So what's going on, bro?
No, man, nothing. Just happy that you know what? I'm more happy with you know. I was expecting our boy to win. I don't think anybody was really questioning that. I was actually real happy with Yancy Medeiros' fight. I think he said a lot for himself in that fight. You know, got himself on the main card, obviously.
Exactly.
Riding coattails rode coattails to the main card and showed up. And I think that's I think it was a great day. I think it was a great day for MMA out here, culturally and just as a sport.
Well, my question is, Mike,
it's not like BJ's getting any big wins, you know. So.
Oh Jesus! Leave the man alone. I feel like the Britney Spears guy. Leave BJ alone. But Mike, what I want to know is when are you starting your own fight promotion out there? I'm telling you, you sound like you got your P's and Q's in order. I'm definitely thinking a feeder league. Please. I've got
3 kids, man. So my fight league started about 4 years ago.
Nice.
They rage.
That's funny.
They rage, and the meanest one is a 2-year-old. She was planking at like 3 months old. They usually are. But yeah, like I said, just happy. I haven't gotten any pictures. The Max was getting, like I said, a freaking hero's welcome at the airport. They're already arranging, picking up his bags in the baggage claim and a whole big thing. So I'm sure the federales were all over it because these people do not care. They're going to the airport and they're partying. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of them got citations for drinking in the airport.
Oh no!
Dog weren't his bodyguards?
He don't need a bodyguard. He flew back on United though. I'm sure they weren't fucking with him.
They weren't trying to drag his ass. He was like, for my fallen Asian brother, I'm holding this shit down. And he's just sitting there like, yo, wishing somebody would. I'm not a doctor, but I'll fuck you up. You know what I mean? He's just talented.
So yeah, he got back on the island about
2-3 hours ago. It's probably a pretty crazy schedule because I know Brazil is like a 30-hour flight from Hawaii, the layovers and whatnot, and obviously
might as well be in
not
space.
dealing with that.
Jesus Christ!
Pretty much,
30 hours. You can go to the moon.
Obviously, dude's not dealing with the layovers and all that stuff, but it's a long flight, so I know we pretty much probably got right back on that plane and.
It's a goddamn
over.
long flight from here, that's for sure. That was the worst. I would never go back to Hawaii again.
Yeah, I thought, like I said, I thought Yancey showed up, and I think that was really good for in general. Obviously, everyone was paying attention to Max, but Yancey showing up, and even more humble was his post fight. He kind of said, I think, what everybody else was thinking that fight got stopped a little early, but but I don't think. Well, it did, man. It did, but he caught him a couple of times.
I
not
said
that
that
clean.
before, and everybody trashed me for it.
Yeah, because
he caught him a couple times.
You're not
it wasn't that clean that he caught him, but I see the referee's point, and the referee's point was he clipped him like 3 or 4 times, and 2 or 3 more inches over, and what's his face is Silva's eating punches. So I understand the referee's safety angle of it. I think Silva was still doing well, but I think he was close. He was a punch away from getting.
It's a tough call.
Chewing on his tongue.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's a tough call for these guys. You can't really blame him. It's not like it was one punch and then he called the fight.
Nah, he crossed his eyes up. He crossed his eyes good, and like I said, I more so appreciated Medeiros just for acknowledging it and saying, hey, I thought the fight could have gone too, and being very respectful of his environment. And I think those guys showed up, and they showed, obviously there's dicks everywhere. But for the most part, the guys who are involved in MMA out here are pretty righteous dudes.
I don't mean to cut you off, but speaking of respect, didn't Max try to let Jose Aldo talk first because it was his country? Like you hear him in the post-fight interview, he was like, "Let him talk first. It's his country. I'm gonna give him the respect." Joe Rogan's like, "I can't do that, dude." So Max even in victory was very humble and respectful of Aldo and his situation.
Yeah, Joe Rogan wasn't there, but.
I'm sorry, not Joe Rogan. That's my bad. It
was Joe Rogan. It'll always be Joe Rogan. Put a mask on whoever else is doing it. But no, I like I said, I think they showed up, and I think they did very well because obviously you get the stigma out here. If you're white, you got problems and blah blah blah, and dickhead local boys and all that shit. It happens. There's assholes everywhere. Assholes in Jersey, and there's certainly assholes out here that practice MMA just like everywhere else. But I think those guys showed up and showed respectful and showed what it's about. It's about just it's a fight,
hard
and
work.
That's what it is, and we'll leave it there. I'll work hard and I'll get out there and pretty much I love everything that Holloway said and done, and I feel like it's a little premature. I mean, what's he at 11 in a row right now? But if he gets past Frankie and gets past whoever they throw at him next, I think you got to start talking about the guy taking Silva's record. I mean, because he's at 11. Once he's at 13, he's tied with John Jones, 2 more wins. That's the tie for the second longest win streak.
Yeah, he's like we said before. If someone doesn't step up or a couple guys don't step up, he's going to run into the same problem Demetrius Johnson has with the lack of competition. But in any event, he said he's there to stay.
Fight him.
He wants to clean his
Chris will fight him, though,
Chris will fight anybody.
Oh.
Chris will fight anybody who's like 150 pounds or less that trains MMA who will wax his ass fucking hole.
Chris,
You'll have a clean butthole, Chris. They'll wax your asshole like a Brazilian style.
Especially if it's a female.
Always.
Then I'm all for the waxing of the butthole.
Always, right?
Hey,
always
going
down the hole. The no spot.
We're gonna go 17 in a row with anal references. But
if you didn't know, hey Mike, if you didn't know any better, this could be a male porn.
I'm gonna try and
podcast.
create some separation between me and the next guy. Probably gonna go for like 19 or 20 in a row.
Just create that buffer. We're taking it to Thanksgiving. But no, like I said, me as a passionate fan, and we got into a little bit on Facebook. Me as a passionate fan, I want to see him get at Conor. I mean, for me, that's obvious. It's the last loss.
Of course,
the guy who held it. It's never going to happen.
If you want him to get that record, you don't want him to get Conor.
Come on. First and foremost, let's recognize the fact that Conor. Let's recognize the fact that Conor might not even have an MMA fight all year. Let's recognize that.
Let's recognize the fact that Conor beat Max Holloway with a busted up knee. Thank you.
And recognize the fact that he hasn't fought in MMA all year and he's still going to beat your boy. No, I'm kidding. I like Max.
No, Chris is a big fan of Max, and so am I. we like Max Holloway a lot.
I'm a big fan. I'm not hating
ball.
on Max at all. I'm just saying I think Connor's is a cut above. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
No, he is. He's a cut above.
He's a cut outside is what he is right now. He needs to fucking fight. That's what he needs to do.
How about this? He's going to beat Floyd, and he's still going to fight this year.
You can't get on a man's fucking knock a man's hustle for trying to make $100 million in a night.
I'm not. It's like I said. He's to me, he's a Hollywood divorce. He's where business and the sport crossed, and that's where it had to go. And I get it.
Was saying, he's like Connor's always looking for the next thing.
I'll give you credit for that one. That's the truth. It really is.
Connor's always looking over the fence at the next best thing, and that's the way his personality is. Max is there to stay.
Yeah, well,
fine.
He's got an opportunity.
When Max becomes the next best thing to Connor, then they'll fight again. Until then, it's not going to happen.
Until then, Connor's after that generational wealth, like Omar says. Generational wealth for his son.
Always.
And he ain't stupid.
And you could probably thank Connor in part due to Max's, whole win. No, I wouldn't say win over Aldo, but just the path that he got to the title. Because
Connor relinquished the title together. Because no one's beating Connor if he stays at the 45 division. Holloway's not the champ if Connor doesn't move up. He's not. And I'm sorry. He'll get another fight eventually. That's just the way it would have worked. But no.
He would have had to fight Connor Saturday night instead of Aldo, and I don't know if that would have went too well for him. But and it would have been in Dublin.
Yo, can I ask you guys a question? Is it true that Chad Mendes was suspended because of like psoriasis medication?
Yep.
Because there's a steroid in the medication.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. I literally asked last week, where's Mendes been? And, I found out that he's been suspended, and I'm just like, that's so crazy.
That's what
I didn't know what it
happens.
was
You get your fucking soul snatched, bro. You start juicing and shit, man. That's what happens. Connor busted his ass, Edgar busted his ass, and then all of a sudden he was like, yo, I'm soul searching here. I'm soul searching. Snatched my soul.
He's out there. He's got some pretty flaky patches of skin probably falling off. The poor bastard needs some sort of medical help. He mistakenly takes what the doctor gives him, and suddenly he's
Jergens like the rest of us.
Jesus Christ.
Oh
Jergens lotion like the rest of us.
Oh, I don't have that much.
They say going tanning helps psoriasis. Going out in the sun and shit. So that's what you have to do. People get fucking tan.
You know what happened to Mendes? He got the shit kicked out of him twice in a row. That's what happened to Mendes. So he started taking
Is that your medical opinion, Mr. Chris?
And by the way, Chris would kick the shit out of Mendes too, right?
Twice for being a bitch with psoriasis, right? Like, thanks, man.
He'd kick Mendes' ass and he'd kick his psoriasis ass.
Oh, man.
Speaking of, you guys heard, speaking of kicking ass, you guys heard What's His Face got life?
Yes.
We actually brought it up before, yeah. Yeah, we actually talk about that. Something happened where we had one machine just call in.
Do not shit in his toilet in jail. If you shit in that guy's toilet in jail,
do not shit in his upper decker. Do not give him an upper decker.
Do not shit in his toilet in jail.
He's not going to be alive long. He's going to end up killing himself in there. He's going to be another
I think he might too.
Nobody's going to get paid.
Unquote.
That's a fucking grim prediction, bro.
It's a pretty good prediction.
He's not going to live long. He's going to kill him.
Trying to keep it light and don't take a shit in his toilet in jail or you're going to have to pay. And then Tommy's like, he's not going to even live.
He's going to die.
He's going to live. He's going to take his own life.
Let's put it this way. Let's go full circle.
Yeah, well,
War Machine will defend his title before Conor does.
Oh.
He's hung up right now. If he didn't hang up and drop the mic on that one, that would have been brilliant.
That is amazing.
Nah, man, I got to stay for my celebration. Guaranteed. That dude is defending his toilet before Conor's defending a belt. Guaranteed.
Oh, my God.
Yikes.
Yeah, we heard you the first time. You stop making fun of Conor. We heard you already. This is a Conor. This is a pro Conor podcast.
Makes me sick.
PCC pro Conor podcast.
I feel bad for you, fellas. It's like, I don't know, man. Like Nate and Conor are rivals, and I love them both. I just can't not like either of them.
I like Conor. I wish he'd fight. That's how much I like him. I wish he would fight. Because I love to see Conor fight, but the fucker never fucking fights.
Yeah, but he fought. So I don't get what you're saying. Like, what are you saying? Before fucking this passes the Alvarez fight, all he did was fight.
Yeah,
I don't understand
come on.
that.
Like,
I don't understand that though. Like,
yeah, but now it means something.
That's what I'm saying. My feelings are, he does fight.
Because he won a belt, then he didn't fight in that weight class anymore, and then he went and fought in another weight class and fought Nate and not worried about his belt. People people are getting caught up in the fact that he don't fight. No, he fights. He fights a lot, and he fights good competition. He just took some time off. He just had a kid. Give the guy a break. He fucking fought 7 times in a year and a half.
He Devlin.
He didn't have the kid.
Yeah, let's not.
Wait,
what are you doing?
What's his record in title defense matches?
Oh,
What's
God.
the difference? How many fights did he have in the UFC since he got there?
How fake is Holloway's belt right now? Does it even exist? Is it even wrapped around his waist, or is it like it's like Wonder Woman's airplane? It's invisible.
You think that it would have been more respectable for Conor to fight a featherweight than fight Nate Diaz twice? I'm sorry. I think that it shows more balls.
I'm not mad at him getting his money, but my thing is like, why even fight for a belt if you're just never going to defend it? That's just my feelings on it. My feelings on it. You're the champion. Defend the belt.
But
I'm all good with you fighting other people. Get your money. But
why would you defend the belt that he doesn't have? He doesn't own that belt no more. That he gave the belt up and he fought fucking Nate Diaz.
Exactly, and that's why.
Yeah, but at what point is he giving the lightweight belt up?
Why is Aldo allowed to not fight for a year when he wins the belt,
UFC,
and Conor can't?
UFC. It's not Conor. It's the UFC. If Conor wanted to fight in March, they wouldn't have let him. You know, like that's my point. It's like
he said he wanted to fight in March.
To make an interim title fight.
But
there would be an interim belt. If Khabib didn't eat a fucking piece of tiramisu.
He's pursuing a fight outside of the company.
All I heard was tiramisu.
If Khabib didn't eat tiramisu, then there would be an interim lightweight champion, and like nobody would really even be bitching about Conor right now because like there would be a clear contender in the weight right now, waiting for Conor to come back. Or there would be an interim championship, and then that guy would fight somebody for an interim championship, so that whoever was the belt holder at the time is guaranteed the Conor fight.
Yeah,
interim,
exactly.
You know?
But Khabib fucked up. Khabib will never fight 55 again. He's done. It's going to be Kukui versus Conor eventually when they fight.
And it fucked up the whole division because now there's so much uncertainty. And like just like there was uncertainty at featherweight until Saturday night, like that division was kind of in flux. Like nobody knew really like who's the champ. Like like that's what Conor's doing. I get it. There is definitely the Conor effect of
Conor's
what he does.
The champ of the 45-pound division.
No, he's not. That's stupid.
If you're Holloway, how do you feel? Holloway, you definitely want to feel like you want to get at him. That guy gave up the belt. He beat you last. I get why it's never
Holloway
happening.
Can't have that he can't have that mindset because he beat.
He
unified the belt.
He doesn't. He's smart. He's saying, "Fuck it. I won the belt that was in front of me. I beat the guy who was the champ. Too bad. It's not my fault. Conor moved up out of the division. It is what it is. Holloway's really the champ. I bust balls when I say that. So it's a real belt.
My problem with Conor is not so much a problem with Conor as much as I feel like he's the poster boy for a lot of the shit I don't like belts sitting on a shelf. And it's not just Conor. It is the UFC. It is the business of it.
What else, Mike?
I get that.
Can I ask you what else though? Like, what else don't you like about Conor? I'm just curious because a lot of people say they don't like Conor, and then they say one thing why they don't like him. Other than that, he's a great competitor. He respects everybody. He's one of the best to ever do it.
My feelings on it are pretty. I'm a traditionalist just when it comes to the belts, man. It's just how it is. I feel like if you're the champion, show up and defend it. That's just, and I feel that way across the board. And you know what? That's why I'm real happy with Holloway because I guarantee he'll be defending it, and I think he's great for the sport in that regard. So
I do too.
Conor, like I said, is for me, it's just more of a personification of the issues that exist, regardless of if he was there or not. And he just happens to be the one that is the most vocal and the most prominent position to be like, you know what, fuck that guy. Even though Aldo might sit in Brazil for a year, he does it quietly where Conor's, fucking trying to fight monkeys and shit. I don't know what he's doing. Luscious Lips, Rocky 2.
Whoa.
Wait,
what?
Hold on, no. Let's let that go.
Were you referring to Floyd?
Honestly, our show is about to be up, and we're really up against it here. I appreciate you calling in and representing Hawaii and Max and everything.
Oh my God!
It's been great talking to you these past 2 weeks. Definitely don't forget about
that was not a racial comment. That was just
I know.
Just fighting anything and not whatever.
I'm trying to blow it off here, guys, because obviously it wasn't. But I don't want things to fucking escalate here.
Shit, I fell off my chair.
Wait.
I hurt my back. Final.
Yo, seriously, I fell off the chair. I fell off the chair when I heard that.
Mike.
Nah, that wasn't that. That was saying if I would have remembered Hulk Hogan's character in Rocky 2, I would have thrown that out. It blanked on me. I didn't want to say Luscious Lips. I said it anyway to save myself.
Clubber Lang?
I don't remember his name.
Oh, that was
the Hulk Hogan when he fought. Yeah.
Thunderlips,
whatever.
Yeah.
That's what Mayweather.
He's the true lip wizard.
I don't know if that would have been any better. Thunder. I felt like kind of went with just call Floyd.
Stop it. All right, listen, seriously?
Big lips.
Mike, thanks for calling in. Chris, please stop right
Floyd
now.
has big lips and Michael Jackson's old nose.
Oh, God.
CM Punk has Michael Jackson's virgin nose. But anyway, guys, Mike, it was great talking to you again. Max Holloway representing well for your little island or your big island out there, your bunch of islands. I definitely want to hear back from you in the upcoming months, so definitely don't forget about us. It's an interesting call when you call in, and I appreciate you having you. Thanks a lot, bud.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.
We are out of time.
We are officially out of time. We wanted to squeeze more callers in, but it's we're up against it. Something happened with the board there. Who the hell knows what's going on? But guys, make sure you tune in to or check out our website. If you want to catch the show replay, it's basically uploaded onto our website www.priderulesmma.com. Big shout out to our sponsors, Joe Cashin at adkfightwear.com for all your competition gear, rash guards, gis, the whole lot of it. Big ups to our gyms that we got going on, Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu for Omar, Madama Jiu-Jitsu for Tommy, and, of course, we're going to still big up Mike Berg, the Institute Muay Thai in Keensburg, New Jersey. Looking forward to, the new format, MMA Mondays at 8:30. So we will be back in 1 week. I know we had a short turnaround last week because we did Wednesday to Monday, but next week we are going to do Monday again at 8:30. I think
Monday plays better for MMA news.
It really does. It's fresh in the mind. Yep. But, for Omar, for Chris, for Tommy, I'm Carl, the straw that stirs the drink. We are Pride Rules Podcast, sponsored by 2 Minute Warning. Check you guys out next week. Conor McGregor rules everything. Goodbye.
Eat Cyborg's
Cyborg's penis.